Heyo! Welcome to this week's episode of the Irish Fantasy Punts. No Jamie this week, just Dan and Shane. So we're going to bring you to the games. Say hello to Shane.
Hello.
You heard me loud and clear that time anyway.
Yeah, I got you at the end of that one, yeah.
I made sure to enunciate me properly.
Yeah, typical. The one time I say it to you right before we start.
Hope everyone won their fantasy games last week anyway. We had plenty of questions coming in. So hopefully more questions again this week and we can get through all the games in one piece. How'd your week go?
I did not do too well in our redraft keeper, but I did win an unlikely matchup in our dynasty. So I'm in full rebuild mode, and I actually was like the third highest point scorer this week. So I was like, whoa, maybe rebuild isn't needed.
Yeah, I copped that and looked at it. I was like, how is Shane up like the highest scorers? Looked at it and I was like, actually, this team's not too bad. It was an orphan.
Yeah, I was like, what? I couldn't believe I had done as well as what I had done this week. I was like, and in our redraft, I got let down by way too many people, like Lamar not having a good game, Jonathan Taylor not scoring after playing outstanding. Like that would have got me some bit up the table. I took the risk and played Lazar. Now, Lazar was still better than every other receiver I had on the bench. So
we're going to get into Lazar in the first game anyway, but Ja'Marr Chase is a bit of a worry seeing as Yoshi Vass outscored him.
Yeah, I even though I will say I'm seeing it everywhere on TikTok and Twitter, and I don't have Instagram, but Jamie said it to me about Instagram earlier in the week. I think that it's looking like Ja'Marr is a real buy low target now, and it seems a lot of people are predicting this is the week he goes off. So we'll see.
He could get even lower if he doesn't score much this week. Well, we're already talking about matchups, so we may as well get into it. So I'll play a drop.
Was the drop silence?
Yeah, it was really low Batman. Here, I'll put something a bit louder on. Stay on the superhero theme, even though there's not many superheroes in the first game. New England at the Jets. We'll run to the quarterbacks quickly. I don't think you're going to play either of these boys, but you might be able to play Rodgers. But against the New England defense, do you have any interest in that?
Pass defense for New England hasn't been great. What are they, like 28th ranked fantasy for pass defense? I think
pass defense. I don't have those stats in front of me, but I can find them.
I think they are. I just get it here in Sleeper quick enough. The New England are. Oh no, I don't have it. Sorry. I thought I had it right. I'm sorry. No, I don't have it there.
We can talk through the running backs quickly then while I go and find these stats. But Ramondre and Breece Hall are pretty much auto starts at this stage. Do you have any interest in that Allen boy?
Yeah, I've been seeing a bit of that, and once I seen kind of what way he went last week, and then I seen a lot of kind of hype around him during the week. I kind of took a look at his snap percentages and target share and stuff like that, but in reality, he shouldn't be a bad option tonight because like they're going to take Breece out of the game at times, especially with the front seven that New England have. Like New England's defense used to be well able to get after the quarterback at least, but it's just their DBs seem to be the problem. So yeah, he should get something. Like he might be a little sneaky flex option. I don't think I'd do it personally this week, but the way running back depth has gone in the league after week 2, he might be an option.
Yeah, I got caught out a bit badly with these injuries this week, so I'm I'm one of the people you need to talk to about running back depth at the minute.
Yeah, if you weren't offered me Calvin Ridley and who was the DK Metcalf, I've been on that train. I was like, I take nearly anyone else off your team.
The wide receivers here, Garrett Wilson's a massive issue for people. And to be honest, I don't think it's going to get much better. I'm not sure about this Jets team. They seem to have one really good drive followed by 8 terrible drives.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. Like, and Rodgers, we know he's quality. Like him, like I don't think the arm is dropped off at all. It's just I'm half wondering he hadn't played any football in a year, where the first 2 games just knocking off a bit of rust, and now he's up against the soft New England backfield. Like, is he going to? Are we going to see that bit more from Rodgers? Like his over under tonight is like 215 yards. So I kind of fancy to throw over 215.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, and it's a divisional game. Neither offense is firing that well. It's kind of hard to know how that's going to go.
No, and they both defend the run really well, and they both have relied on the running backs to start the season.
For some reason, I cannot log into this at all. It just brings me in a loop. So I can't get you these stats right now, but I'll take your word for it that New England aren't great at the pass at the minute.
Yeah, I think I seen it somewhere earlier today. Even I think it was that their pass defense is actually pretty low in the league this year.
Hunter Henry after the 14 targets last week. Do you have any interest in him?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, look, we said it about Henry in week 1 as well, and I think he caught 2 week 1 and was targeted 4 times in week 1, and then he was targeted 12 times last week and caught 8. So it seems to be something that's going to be Brissett's check down is going to be Hunter Henry. And if the Jets defense get after him again tonight, I think Henry could see a lot of targets.
Yeah, hopefully he does plow on. This happened last season as well, where he started hot and disappeared, though. So I'm taking it with a pinch of salt.
I remember who drafted him. Or not drafted him. He got dropped after week 1, and I picked him up.
I will say Jalen Polk is a stash on the bench. I'm still not playing him yet, but he does look interesting.
Yeah, he looked really good in preseason. That's what piqued my interest for Polk, and we just haven't seen it. Now, look, New England, they're not anything special, but like he's definitely a stash. Dynasty, especially, like you're holding that one tight.
Yeah. There's nothing really else to talk about in this game, so we'll move on to the Giants at Cleveland, which doesn't give us a whole lot of option either.
No,
the quarterbacks aren't on the table anyway. You're not touching either of those boys. The running backs, Deonta Foreman took a few snaps off of Ford. Are you worried about Ford at all?
Yeah, I would be with Foreman after coming in. All right, we seen this with the Bears last year. When Foreman came in, and then they shared snaps. And who was the back? Was Singletary last year? Fell out for the Bears, and then Foreman took over again. Full. He got all the shares, and he ended up with like 2 weeks of 22, 23 plus.
Yeah, I think it was Herbert was the back for the Bears.
Herbert, sorry, yes, Herbert. Singletary was the Bills. Sorry, that was my bad. Yeah, when Herbert went down, when they brought in Foreman, he took snaps away from Herbert, and then Herbert went down, and he got the full-time gig, and he was excellent. So it is a worry for Ford owners.
Yeah, there was a lot of snaps went Foreman's way, and he wasn't bad either. Like, what did he get? He was 14 attempts for 42 yards. Well, it's not brilliant either, but
no.
Yeah, Browns offense doesn't excite me at all. Amari Cooper or Jerry Jeudy.
I'm not playing any of them. Look, I said it last week, and we actually got a bit of stick off of someone here for saying that I wouldn't play Amari Cooper or trade for him. And look, he got 2.6 again. The targets are coming his way. The problem is the balls aren't exactly catchable all the time for him. And he dropped an open pass this week. Like, Amari just seems to have gone down a little bit for me. I'm not comfortable playing anyone. I think Neighbors, you want to play him. But Cleveland's defense is so good, and Daniel Jones is going to get chased down this week that I don't want to play Neighbors.
The pass rush is amazing for Cleveland. I paid more attention to it last week after you said about the game against the Cowboys, and Trevor Lawrence was getting rushed constantly. But
Yeah,
there
he
was
actually
targets for Neighbors last week, so
yeah,
again.
When you watch back that game for Jacksonville against Cleveland, he actually misses Thomas on a wide open route. Like, he doesn't see him. He doesn't even throw him the ball.
Yeah.
And
didn't have time.
By the time Thomas gets open, Lawrence has turned his back and is rolling out. That's the route that they were clearly looking for. And then he's just got nothing. the pass rush scared him so much.
I think you still have to play Neighbors, but you just temper your expectations a little bit. Like, you don't expect a 20-point game. You kind of think 10, 11 points maybe.
I even think that if I got 10, 11 points out of Neighbors this week, I'd be delighted. That's the truth. I really would be. Like, I'm more expecting like the 5-6 mark at the high end.
Yeah, Singletary then is the next question for the Giants. Like, it's dirty in the running backs at the minute. Like, you're trying to get starts off of Gus Edwards and Jerome Ford. Like, some people may have to play Singletary here.
The only thing I'd say about that with Singletary, like, is if the Giants get clever with playing him with the way the pass rush comes out, like, you get a couple of screens off the Singletary or scheme something up that gets him a little bit of room. I wouldn't mind playing a bit of Singletary there, like, because the pass rush is so heavy for Cleveland. Screen passes will work well against them. Like,
would you play Singletary then, or Zach Moss in the Monday night game against Washington?
I'd probably go Zach Moss just because Washington's defense seems to be fairly terrible.
I'd agree with that. Would you go with Singletary or someone like Zamir White against Carolina?
Oh, I'm not touching. I go Singletary. Zamir White, I know he had a few extra touches last week. I think Madison is the guy there, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think either of them are the guy.
I think Madison is the guy. Zamir White had a higher snap percentage, but lower snap involvement.
I don't want to play either of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Chicago at Indianapolis. Caleb Williams should be dropped from everyone's team. If you still have him, don't worry about it. Pick him up later on in the season if anything good happens. But
we said that week one. We did, like, we all said it here week one that Caleb Williams was not a stream start to start the season.
Yeah, maybe come week 9 if he's still healthy. Anthony Richardson, though, he absolutely killed you this week after you put a high draft capital into him. Are you going straight back to the well?
Yeah, I think you've drafted him so high, you kind of have to. Like, Richardson is annoying as a quarterback because he has such a high ceiling for fantasy points. It's just between inaccuracy with throwing the ball and the fact then that he tries to run it so much that he takes away from the Taylor owners. It's a tough team to have this year, the Colts. Anyone on the Colts, but like, when they hit huge, which is what you're playing them for. They're game winners.
Defense has been pretty good for Chicago. Is the only thing. Like, I'm not super like, I'd probably play Goff at Arizona before I play Richardson this week.
Yeah, Arizona. Yeah, that's probably not a bad show.
Like, Arizona have no pass rush, so
yeah,
it's hard to tell though. Like, Richardson is just so much upside.
Yeah, like, all Richardson needs is a couple of good runs and a touchdown and throw 14 completed passes and he's laughing. Like, it's that simple. Like, for Richardson, it's like Lamar a couple of years ago. Barely throw the ball in the game, make 10 completions for decent yardage, run the ball twice, good yardage, and one of them ends up in the end zone. You all of a sudden he's won your week and he hasn't actually thrown the ball that well.
And the Colts have still lost.
Yeah. Well, look, Lamar's lost his first 2 games. Hopefully it's 3 this week.
Jonathan Taylor's an auto start, but then DeAndre Swift has been terrible after signing in free agency because the offensive line is awful. But,
Yep.
like, Swift is a massive question mark. Like, would you play Swift or forward for Cleveland against the Giants?
Oof. Probably take the chance on forward.
Yeah, like, I
But
don't think there's
it's
many options I'm going to play Swift over. Like,
no, like Swift and Herbert are splitting the ball fairly well as well, aren't they? Well, they did last week anyway.
I think Swift is getting hit behind the line constantly. 14 attempts for 18 yards? Oof.
Yeah. Like, but when you have Caleb Williams, like week 1 he threw for 94 yards or something on there, 90 something yards. Like when the quarterback isn't throwing the ball downfield, it's very easy to stop the run. Like,
they're just getting hit so quickly that, like, the Chicago offensive line just seems to let them through, which really puts a dampener then on all the receiving options as well. Like, probably have to play DJ Moore though.
For Chicago, yeah, DJ Moore would be the only one I'd be really interested in. Odunze, I don't know how healthy he is after come back in. I know there's nothing up about him, but I don't know. He didn't look fantastic again last week, did he?
Yeah, he's a bench. You're not going to go near him, really. It's not been great for him at all so far, but it's been bad for Pittman as well on the other side of the ball.
Pittman owners are tearing their hair out with how high they drafted Pittman.
Yeah, it's because, like, Richardson either throws it 70 yards or he doesn't throw it. Like,
yeah, because what I noticed last week, and I actually noticed a few people mentioned it afterwards, was Alec Pierce. Richardson came out wearing a T-shirt of Alex Pierce. So, like, I take it he likes Alec Pierce.
It's because Pierce just runs deep every play. He just loves it. What did he have? I think 7 targets last week.
Yeah, I think Alec Pierce is. I'd have no trouble playing him because if he hits, it's going to be big. So, and even if he doesn't, you're looking at low end flex probably anyway. Is all you were bringing him in for. So, like, if he gets 5-6 points, you're okay at that as well.
One for the DJ Moore owners, would you honestly consider playing Alec Pierce over DJ Moore?
Do you know what? I might, just for the simple fact that the Colts can run the ball so well. They can have a lot of the ball in that game. Like, they control the clock. And then DJ Moore doesn't get the chance to go downfield because Caleb can't throw the ball downfield accurately anyway.
Going to find the over-under for this game because I can't imagine it's high at all. I get it for you now.
For
There's
points.
no real options, and, like, the tight ends in this game, no interest in them at all. Cole Kmet, whoever Granson is.
Yeah, no, like the first 3 matchups here have not been super sexy.
No. And total points is 43.5. I don't know if they even hit 43.5.
Jeez, that's higher than tonight. I actually took the under on tonight's game.
Houston at Minnesota. CJ Stroud and the best quarterback in the NFL, Sam Darnold.
Yes, Sam Darnold for MVP. The hype was real.
What was it? 5? Oh, it was 10,000 to 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. It's not that anymore.
Joe Mixon, do you think he plays or do you think he sits? He's still not practicing today.
Yeah, neither is Pierce though.
So Cam Akers City.
yeah, like maybe Cam Akers. He had one kind of little angry run at the end of preseason, didn't he, Cam Akers?
Yeah, Cam Akers is a strange player. He seems aggressive with everything he does, but he doesn't seem to do much with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, look, if Mixon and Pierce are both out, play Akers. It's pick them up, play them. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But, like, if you're the Mixon owner, it's your best bet.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. Now, he's only rostered in 13% of leagues here in Sleeper, so he should be available.
It's worth throwing him on a bench just in case.
Yeah, like if the two, like I would hope Pierce goes myself, but even at that, I think even if Pierce does go, Cam Akers is probably going to see the field for a couple of plays anyway.
Yeah. It's hard to know. I don't know if I'd be too excited either way, but Aaron Jones, you're going to start him up anyway. Justin Jefferson, I think he's perfectly fine, isn't he?
Yeah. Jefferson, he'll be back in. I think Everton is he was limited Wednesday. I think nothing's come out about him today. I assumed he practiced today.
It says limited today as well. Oh, that was.
Oh, was he
Wednesday,
limited today as well?
No, that was Wednesday's practice report. The Thursday one's not out yet.
Yeah, I know.
The other side is a bit more difficult. Nico Collins, Stefan Diggs, Tank Dell. It's kind of hard to know. Well, Nico gets his every game, but between Diggs and Dell, I think it's going to be flip-flop every week, isn't it?
Yeah, but even last week, like Dell, week 1, Diggs did better than Dell. Week 2, Diggs did better than Dell. I think if the ball is not free flowing, Collins is the only one who's going to get massive points. Then it looks like Diggs is going to get his targets, and if there's that left over, Dell is going to get it. But like Dell was terrible last week. Like he killed you if he was your wide receiver too.
He was a 5th-round pick as well, wasn't he, Tank Dell? So you might be kind of
sitting on him for a wide receiver too. Yeah.
Like, would you look at playing Tank Dell or Lad McConkey against Pittsburgh?
I'll probably go McConkey. I think McConkey's getting what he's averaged in the first 2 games 9 targets a game or something. Like if that, and he's going to get looks. Like Tank's biggest problem is just getting the ball to him.
Yeah, it's a dark kind of day when you're looking at Tank Dell and Lad McConkey in the same conversation. I'm trying to find like Zay Flowers or Tank Dell. You're going to play Zay Flowers there.
Rashad Bateman would be more of an argument there for Tank Dell. Like,
oh God, you could never pay me to pay Rashad Bateman. I couldn't deal with the stress of that.
He's hit more points than Tank Dell this last week, and I'm not sure about week 1. I think he had more in week 1 too.
The tight ends and Dalton Schultz. I think I'm moving on from Dalton Schultz. If I have him, I don't think there's enough to go around in this offense.
Yeah, it's maybe you might have to sell kind of low on him to get him out.
Don't know if you can even sell, to be honest.
I think you could get something back in return. Maybe look, there's somebody somewhere has a poor running back with a somewhat half decent snap share, and the running backs are gone to muck after 2 weeks. So maybe you can convince someone they need a tight end.
Maybe you could throw him in a deal, just like a little bit of a sweetener.
Yeah, just here, take him.
Get him off of my roster.
Yeah, and then you pick up Will Dissly, who got 5 points last week.
Will Dissly.
The Dissly love is back.
Philadelphia at the Saints. This should be a good game based off of everything we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Philly got robbed on Monday night.
Good.
You're an angry bastard.
No, good. It's Philadelphia. Welcome.
I still can't believe, though, that they passed that ball there. They just had to run out the clock.
Yeah. So weird.
Jalen Hurts are firing him straight back up anyway. Derek Carr, do you have the confidence to play him after 2 QB1 weeks?
Send it. Send it on Carr. They've had what? Someone or ESPN, I think, posted something like he's had 46 drives or 40 something drives in a row since they've started the season that have ended in scores.
It was
it's
14
just crazy.
Drives. Yeah, 14, and it had last season in it as well, I think. But I think like only one other team had ever done that or something like that. It was an odd stat, like.
So they're to the moon with all your Saints players at the minute. It's just unbelievable. Like Derek Carr looks the real deal. Like we mentioned this, was it last year when he went to the Saints, that if he could possibly recapture that Raiders MVP worthy season that he had there and got injured before, like he was a cert for the MVP that year with the Raiders and got injured, missed out on it. If he could ever get that form back, Derek Carr was going to be dangerous. And first 2 games in, man, it looks like he has that form back.
There was 2 receivers on that team. It was Amari Cooper, and who was the other receiver? Was it
Aguilar, was it? the time.
No, it wasn't Aguilar. Was it like Brandon Marshall or someone? Or Brandon Marshall was the Jets when he finished, wasn't he? I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
It was someone pretty good though as well. Anyway, back to this. So would you play Derek Carr or would you play, let's say, Goff against Arizona?
I'd probably look. You're not going to go away from the number one quarterback after 2 weeks. Like it wasn't a fluke against the Cowboys. I honestly thought the Cowboys were never going to lose that game. I thought Carolina were just terrible. Saints were bullied a weak team, but like the Cowboys defense isn't bad. Like it's a good defense, and they made them look terrible.
Say you had Derek Carr and you had Dak. Dak's not been putting up massive scores. Would you be looking at Derek Carr?
Yeah, give me Derek Carr all day, every day.
Saquon straight in, Alvin Kamara straight in. Don't need to talk about them.
No.
Devonta Smith, you're gonna play him. There's no real questions there. Like, and then
Yeah.
Olave and Shaheed might be questions. Would you risk Shaheed?
Yeah, I play Shaheed over Olave. Carr seems to like him. He seems to be the deep threat in the offense and whatever. Like once they kind of get Kamara rolling, that play action down the field is like it's shown up 2 weeks in a row that it is very dangerous. And it's Shaheed is the one who seems to be on the receiving end of that, and he's targeted a lot in them games. Like the Cowboys couldn't stop him at all. 4 receptions, he had 3 rushing attempts. Like it'll be hard not to play Shaheed after 2 really good weeks.
Yeah, especially when he's putting up those points.
Yeah.
Would you play Shaheed or would you play Calvin Ridley against Green Bay?
I'd play Shaheed. Better quarterback play.
Say you had
better team.
Deontay Johnson with the Andy Dalton switch. Would you put in Shaheed or Deontay Johnson?
You couldn't pay me to pay a Panther at the minute. Get out of here. It's just not happening. The Red Rifle can fucking suck it for a week before I trust them to do anything.
Dallas Goedert's the only tight end you'll look at here, but I still think you probably find a better tight end option around the place.
Yeah, it's like he's very consistent. It's just not a sexy play. But
no,
like
it's a 6-point play.
With the boom bust of tight ends been so, unless you've one of the top end guys, like it's so unpredictable. You probably just stick with Goddard, do you? Like it'd be very hard to drop Goddard, put in a Foster Moreau from the Saints or a Jawan Johnson, or like who's even in our next game here, like someone like Hurst. Like you're not going to play those guys. Like
yeah,
I'd play Goddard.
Yeah. Chargers at Pittsburgh. Then we'll move on to that game, seeing as we segued into it nicely. Herbert and Fields. I'm not going to play Fields music because I just don't really feel like it. It's way too long. But Justin Fields hasn't been terrible, but I still don't think he's going into fantasy option. Like he seems to be all right for the team, but not great for fantasy at the minute. Yeah,
it's a weird one. Like Fields, he has that 40-point game in him. That's the like if you there's not enough quarterbacks to be hurt at the minute to play Fields, but like once it gets there, if Fields is still a starter, he's probably the most attractive option.
Herbert's kind of hurt, so I don't think you're bothered playing Herbert, really, to be honest. And he's probably already hit your waiver wire in your league anyway.
Yeah, two poor weeks from your quarterback. Like at less than 20 points from a quarterback in any sort of setup, they're killing you in your league. Like you just need to get them out.
The running backs in this game they're kind of like the dirty trench of running backs. Like Dobbins has been playing well, but he's still splitting carries with Edwards. You're going to have to trust Dobbins, I think, at this stage. I think you're just going straight in with him, aren't you?
Yeah, this is the week I'm nervous to play him. He's had 2 very soft teams to play through in the Raiders and Carolina. Going up against Steelers, TJ Watt, it's Minkah Fitzpatrick. It's not going to be a nice night to be a Charger. You just hope that he comes through this game with the way the Steelers defense are getting after people. Like and he scores after that as an upside for me, to be honest.
The Steelers defense has been a force to be reckoned with, but the Chargers have just been giving so many carries to running backs that there's so much volume.
Yeah, it's horrible offense. That's heavy run. It's always the way it's going to be. Like I think Edwards, I wouldn't do it, but I have a sneaky feeling Edwards is going to outscore Dobbins this week. I reckon they're going to end up on the goal line a couple of times, and Edwards is going to take them carries.
Yeah, I'm not playing him either, but I see what you mean because they're splitting it 50-50. It's right down the middle, like.
Yeah, I have a funny feeling it ends up in swinging Edwards this week. I think the Dobbins owners are going to be annoyed at that. I would love to see Dobbins keep going the way he's going, even for Jamie, because Jamie has him as comeback player of the year between us. And so far, he is the comeback player of the year, 100%.
Just for a bit of background for everyone, I have a decision of Gus Edwards versus Jaylen Warren, and I'm going Jaylen Warren just purely because I think there's a little bit more chance of Warren scoring, but Najee is still the main back there, but I think Warren's a bit more electric and he could get a passing touchdown.
Yeah.
But if I had Warren, I'm still playing Najee. Like,
I think as the weeks go on, since Warren comes back from the injury as well, I think he'll be getting more and more involved as it goes on. I think Najee will stay at 1. I just think Warren will get his share.
I will say from watching the game last week, Pickens was really good. His stat line doesn't show that, but he was the best option for Pittsburgh. I don't know how far I would go with that, though, whether I'm playing him this week.
Yeah. Look, I think you can. Wide receiver 2, for me, Pickens, he's middle of the road wide receiver 2. His upside is huge, but it's just getting to see his upside. He needs better quarterback play, realistically.
Yeah, like if you're gonna, like, the Pickens decision could be like someone Pickens or like Flowers against Dallas. Probably gonna lean Flowers there.
Yeah, me too. I probably would as well.
I'm trying to like Pickens or Xavier Worthy against Atlanta.
I'd probably go Worthy.
I think I'd lean Pickens there. It's probably where the line kind of is, I'd say.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Worthy after that week 1, seeing what he can do. It's just about getting him the ball again.
Yeah, he's fast. He is fast.
Yeah, he is fast, man. Speed kills in this league.
And then Lad McConkey. I think I'm going to wait a few weeks on Lad McConkey before I start looking to put him into lineups, but I think you might be a bit higher on him, are you?
Yeah, I don't know about this game being the Steelers, but like I think Lad McConkey could flow in and out of your team as a flex option. Wide receiver 2, depending on what way your lineup is set up. But I would trust Lad McConkey more than a lot of the other rookie wide receivers that have come in. Like the only ones that'd be ahead of him be like Thomas, Worthy. Like I don't know what I play Lad McConkey over Neighbors this week. Like I don't think Neighbors is going to have a good week. Like,
yeah, I'm just still more confident that Neighbors is I know Lad McConkey is the only option as well. I don't know why I see them so differently when I break it down like that, but I just still have more faith in Neighbors for some reason.
Because Quentin Johnson is in the Chargers too, and Quentin Johnson's played very well.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, that's the only difference. Like if Quentin Johnson was with the Giants, we would probably be saying that about Lad McConkey instead of Neighbors.
I think it's just from a year or 2 years of ignoring Quentin Johnson that I didn't even look at his name when it came up on the list here. But he is actually a question mark. Are you playing him after the big week last week?
Look, if you picked him up, do what you will with him. I personally didn't go in for him. But yeah, I'd have no problem. If he had the big week, he had targets week 1. He's probably their number 1. I would still lean more towards McConkey got more targets. He's just not doing that with him. but I would feel okay playing Johnston. I wouldn't feel comfortable.
Say you had Christian Watson, who hasn't been doing a whole lot for Green Bay, and they're playing Tennessee. Would you play Johnson or Christian Watson?
No, I play Johnson.
Yeah, I think I'd be the same. I don't have much faith in Watson for some reason.
I think it's the Malik Willis factor.
Yeah, as you see that Love might be playing though.
Yeah, I just don't agree. I think if he comes back, he's going to be stood in that pocket waiting to be hit. I don't think he's going to have the movement to get around.
Freiermuth then for the Steelers, like he's kind of one of those guys you can play him if you want to, but you could play Freiermuth or you could play Gesicki against Washington, and there's the same thing. Like you're just
yeah. If it was Freiermuth, he's Dallas Goedert, didn't he? Just not as Dallas Goedert. There's less chance of being hurt.
Would you trade Jamar Chase and Zamir White for Bijan? Yeah, I'd prefer to have Bijan there.
Yeah, so would I.
I'm just worried about the Chase thing. I know he'd probably be good in 2 weeks anyway, but like Bijan for Chase is pretty okay straight up, and then Zamir White, yeah, it's like whatever. I get Zamir White back, but it's not too bad.
Chase is talking a lot about his money as well, isn't he? And I don't know. That doesn't seem like it's going to end well for the Bengals. I think we could be seeing the last of Jamar Chase in Bengals uniform.
They should have just paid him. Like they don't have to pay the money until next year anyway. Just pay him. Like,
yeah, I think they've really made a mistake there. He wants to beat Jefferson's money by a good bit. CD got paid, so he's probably going to want to beat CD money now. Like you've cost yourself money by not signing him.
That's what I don't understand. Is they all delay these things as far as they can, but the longer you delay, you're going to pay them more anyway because another receiver is going to get paid, and they're going to want more money than that guy. Like,
yeah, like I don't actually know who's up next from that kind of around that time to be paid, and yeah. I don't think any of them are rated as high as the Jefferson, CD, Jamar.
Yeah, Waddle's the only one that's like coming up the same year as Chase, I think, but
he's not getting that money.
Yeah, Olave was the same year, and Drake London were the same year, but they're not. Yeah. Oh, Garrett Wilson was that year as well. That was a mad year, wasn't it? Like 5 receivers in the first round or something.
Yeah, like Wilson probably will get paid that money, but he probably doesn't deserve. He's not in that category. Not deserve. I won't say deserve, but he's not in that elite category yet that the other 3 boys are in for me. Like,
yeah, I'd agree. He has to put it on the field, but his dynasty value is quite shaky at the minute as well, purely because what happens when Rodgers retires, and is the offense even that good?
Return of Sam Darnold.
Denver at Tampa Bay. It's very hard to find anything to get excited about in the Denver offense at the moment.
Yeah, there isn't anything. Like, I don't think there's anything that you feel anyway comfortable with playing on Denver's side of the ball. I know I don't.
Javonte.
Yeah, look, he was okay last week, but I don't know. Like McLaughlin's just getting like he did nothing last week, but he's so involved on the offense. It's annoying for Javonte owners.
Clutchbox traded ETN, London, and Shaheed for JT, Jacobs, and Pickens. What do you think? I love those players. Yeah,
yeah, that's fantastic.
Like ETN injured, London. I think that's going to be hit and miss. And Shaheed, you picked him off the waiver wire, like.
And that is a great trade. Like I would not. Like I have JT in our league, and I have Jacobs in Dynasty, and I would not trade either of them for the best player on the opposite side, ETN, and then working the way down. There's no way I give up Jacobs for London or Pickens for Shaheed.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. Do you know what? Isolated, I could probably do the Pickens Shaheed deal if I was a Pickens owner.
Oh, the guy he traded with needed receivers because he had Debo. Debo's down. But yeah,
Ah,
advantage of
smart.
them.
Yep, I love it. Kick them while they're down.
Back to this matchup, this Denver at Tampa Bay. Yeah, like I probably play Javonte over like Gus Edwards, but I wouldn't be happy about it. Like Cortland Sutton, I have no interest in. That's dead. Tampa, the Tampa side.
I'm still holding them in our league just for a bit of hope.
You coughing there a bit?
Yeah, I just choked there in a bottle of water.
Baker Mayfield, he's on fire. So Baker Mayfield or Derek Carr against the Eagles?
You probably go Baker just for how bad Broncos are.
Yeah, I just like Carr so much though.
Yeah, like I like realistically, if you had to do him in your team, you're probably sticking with Carr because he's been QB1 2 weeks in a row. But like
Baker's not far behind.
The smart money says Baker has the better week against the worst team. So that's just the only way I'm looking at that.
Rashad White's limited, so keep an eye on that anyway. If he gets a full practice in Friday, I'd probably still play him though.
I'm done with Rashad White. Done. Like 13 points week 1. Dan says, he's okay. You're probably playing him again this week. No, 2.8 points. Stop with the nonsense. You should have traded him week 1. It was a bad draft decision.
I don't have him.
I'm just saying for anyone who did draft him, because he was, how high was White going? Was he like 7th round pick or something? Was he?
Oh no, he's like 2nd, wasn't he? White?
Oh
no, 4th actually, wasn't he? He was the same round as Mixon.
Oh my god, that is just terrible. Was he that high? I thought he was a lot lower.
No, he was like 4th round, yeah. Chris Godwin's on fire. I'd fire up Godwin and Evans in this game anyway. I'd have no issue with that.
Yeah. Definitely 110% the two of them boys have to go in to any lineup.
Evans had Snead last week as well. Snead kind of shuts down the number 1 most weeks.
Yeah. Cade Otton has had 2 terrible weeks, and I'd even probably say pick him up off the carousel this week and pray if you're just on the tight end carousel. I just think this could be a slaughter.
I'm not going for Cade Otton.
You had to think about it though.
Greg Dulcich, I can never get his name out right. I'm probably not looking his way either. He can stay on the waiver wire for me.
Yeah.
I think the C throws me off. Dulcich.
I think you said it right though, didn't you, the first time?
I don't care.
What the
He's on the waiver wire.
Dulcich. It's Greg.
That's not right.
Yeah, really no, that's cool. What you said second time.
Oh, was it? Oh.
Yeah, I thought you said Greg Dulcich the first time. I thought that's how it was said.
Doesn't matter. Green Bay at Tennessee. Jordan Love, Will Levis. I don't think Love plays this game. I know they're being big on the old PR, but I think it's next week we'll see Love.
I would agree.
Practicing pads on Thursday, though. Maybe keep an eye on it, but are you playing Reed if Love doesn't play?
It's hard, isn't it, to get excited about any Packers wide receivers without Love.
Yeah,
I'm probably not. If I find out Love's not playing Sunday, I'm probably pulling the plug on Packers receivers if I can.
Yeah, like if it's not Love, I'm probably not playing any of them.
Yeah,
I think Reed's the only one I play anyway. Like I'm not too excited about any of these boys except for Reed.
Yeah, like we thought coming into the season, even Jamie, our resident Packers fan, thought that Christian Watson was definitely the number 1 guy there before week 1, and turned out not to be the case.
Jacobs is getting so much work that you just play him. You don't think about that. And Tony Pollard has been brilliant for Tennessee, so I think he's pushed himself into your running back 2 slot anyway.
Definitely.
The
110%.
last one to talk about then in this game is Calvin Ridley. Do you have any interest in Calvin Ridley against Green Bay's secondary?
I just don't know. It's just, I just don't want to do it. Do you know that way? I feel like I'm going to be let down.
Yeah, you're setting yourself up. Everything says to play him, but at the same time, pulling the trigger is.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm not doing it. If I'm stuck, I'll do it. But I'm not. Wide receivers shouldn't be an issue this year. Most of them are healthy unless they play for the Rams. So you should be okay here.
Yeah, he's a 7th round draft. You probably have other options. You could be excited about him though and want to play him, but I have him on my roster and I'm not playing him. But I do have very good receivers on that roster.
Yeah, I would be delighted to play Calvin Ridley if Will Levis wasn't his quarterback. If Baker Mayfield was his quarterback, I'd be delighted to play him. Jordan Love, even Dak, guys who can throw the ball decently.
Oh. Well, at least Levis gets plenty of chances because he throws enough interceptions enough stupid interceptions as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but they all said it about him when he came to the Titans, didn't they? When they drafted him, that it was a bit of a reach on Levis.
Who's even the Titans' backup? Clutchbox chances of Levis getting benched. I don't even know who their backup is. If he's the starter, who's behind him?
God knows. Just they better be terrible. That's all I'd say.
Oh, it's Mason Rudolph. They are terrible.
Yeah. Just look, Cam Newton, I seen, is in talks to go back to Carolina. Before that happens, just bring him into the Tennessee Titans. They have a run game. Just throw Cam Newton in there. It's got to be better than that.
No, I'm not dealing with Cam Newton. I actually think Mason Rudolph would probably be better for Ridley. Well, we'll see how it goes this week. If Ridley has another hot week, I'm probably going to have to play him then in week 4. I think he's moved up then.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If Ridley does back-to-back good weeks, I would have less of a problem with playing him.
Start sit Olave versus Ramondre Stevenson, full PPR. Let me pull up. So it's the Jets for the Patriots, or Olave has, we were talking about that game earlier.
Eagles,
isn't it? Philadelphia. Really Ramondre there,
Yeah, I'd lean with you there.
Put some respect on Mason Rudolph from Clutchbox.
Yeah, he didn't get knocked out with Myles Garrett, bet a helmet off him, so I suppose he's good for something.
I don't know if anyone else here watches the F1, but Mason Rudolph just reminded me of Lance Stroll for some reason.
You just want to hate him.
Trade Kyron London and Tank Dell for CD and Olave.
So yeah, I'm doing that.
And Tank Dell. Yeah. We did put on our Twitter earlier that we're going to try and trade Kyron because we're worried. Well, I'm worried about him being the only weapon in an offense that people will just start keying off him. I don't expect anything against San Francisco this week purely because there's no O-line left for the Rams and they have no other option but to give it to Kyron.
Stafford is excellent, but the fact he's not that mobile of a quarterback. He's not going to be able to get out of a lot of situations with the O-line banged up and worse receivers. I would trust Stafford if he had a healthy offensive line to work with the guys that the Rams have. But without a healthy O-line, I'm just not confident they can do that.
He could get injured by the time the two boys are back from IR as well. It's just
Rams season could be going down the drain quick.
Michael Brantley, hey guys, got to sit one. It's a full PPR. Jamar Chase, Chris Godwin, Zay Flowers, or Ayuk. Ayuk's the only show in town this week, so I kind of want to play him. Chris Godwin, I want to play. Can you bench Jamar Chase for Zay Flowers?
Who do the Bengals got?
They have the Monday night game against Washington.
Yeah, no, I bench Zay there then.
Yeah, I can't bench Jamar Chase against Washington, especially after a week where he's going to be in the squeaky wheel. Like,
Yeah, like I think if there's any game he should break out and get back to the Jamar that we all know and love, or hate, depending on you've always played against them. But he's definitely should be this week. Should be the week Jamar is back.
Donald Grove, should I start Bowers over Kelsey for week 3? I would start Bowers over Kelsey rest of season, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Bowers has looked absolutely fantastic for what has been a very poor Raiders team.
Yeah, it's him and Devontae Adams are catching the ball, and Minshew was throwing it to him. So it's Carolina for Vegas, and then Kansas City are playing Atlanta, the Sunday night game. Yeah, I'm going to go and use Bowers. I think he's been the better player. Like, Kelsey hasn't been involved.
Yeah, no, I think Kelsey's hit that point now where like we were saying it for the last 2 years here that like we were waiting for the Kelsey Kittle decline. Kittle's came last year. He's not completely fantasy irrelevant, but he's getting to there. And Kelsey now is starting to head down that track.
I think with Kittle, it's just he can block as well. Like, Kittle can actually get involved in the run game.
Yeah.
So he's useful there as well. And then the 49ers just have other options. I don't know if he's declined yet, but they just have so many weapons is the issue.
Yeah, that is a big problem for him as well. They have too many options.
Michael Brantley was leaning for Zay anyway, so yeah, it's a hard choice to bench Jamar Chase is the only thing I'd say there. I don't know if I could do it myself personally.
Yeah, like if there's any team that will cause the Cowboys huge problems as well, and any player on that team who's going to benefit from them problems they cause is Zay with the Ravens. Like, if they can move the ball running it the way the Saints did, that'll open up the downfield passes, and Zay Flowers is their deep man, so he could very well capitalize. I understand it's a hard bench, but there's no way you could bench Jamar playing Washington.
Sebastian, would you rather keep Tank Dell or Pittman? I'd lean Pittman personally, purely because he's the main target in an offense, whereas Tank Dell could be number 3.
Yeah, I go the same, but like it's not, it's grim either way you look at it. You know,
you're not happy about
that's just
it's
the reality of that situation right there.
Tank Dell was so fun last year that it's just annoying. Like,
yeah, you raced to the waiver wire to get him last year. Like, you paid as much as you could in Fab, but like you're not enjoying having him this year.
Carolina at Vegas. So Andy Dalton's first game. Gardner Minshew. I don't like the quarterbacks aren't really a discussion here. We could get in the mucky muck of the running backs if you want.
Oh, tis a rough one. Look, I think personally, I think Madison is a low end flex option this week, mid flex option even. I do think he will get more work than White. I do think he is more of their goal line touches as well. So I would actually think Madison probably scores this week, bigs up his points, goes for 60, 70 yards. That would be my personal preference. I know Jamie was slagging me last week for the Madison love, but I think that's what does happen. Devontae Adams and Bowers this week, I think, are in for big weeks as well. I think anyone who plays the Panthers, basically, you just fire them up. It's kind of the way it's going to go.
Like, the running back snaps for Vegas are a bit weird. Like 4 attempts, 5 attempts for Madison, and then they don't seem to be running the ball a lot. Like 9 attempts last week for Zamir White. The other side of the ball, I don't know if I have the stones to play anyone from the Panthers. Michael Brantley. Also, I have Chubb on my bench, no IR spot. Current RBs are Montgomery and Saquon. Should I consider packaging Chubb and Montgomery for a top tier, or hold on to Chubb, hoping he returns for the playoffs? I'm not I think people holding Chubb are hopeful he's going to be ready to go and be what he was, I'm not on that side. I think if you can move him. Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't be holding Chubb. I think coming back from that kind of an injury, I don't think he's going to be the guy that we all know and love. Till like hopefully next year he's back at his best. But this season, if you can trade for name value, trade like.
well, like a year and a half not playing football. Like,
Yeah, it's going to take time. Look, Nick Chubb is a freak of nature as well. He could prove us all wrong easily. But like just going off of previous people to have somewhat of a similar injury and come back, and it's usually a while before they're back to what they were like, if ever.
we discussed Brock Bowers earlier. Anyway, we're all happy to go with him. Like, he's one of the number one tight ends you can get.
Yeah.
Because of reasons. Hey lads, thought on this trade: Deontay Johnson and London for Pollard and Tank Dell. I have wider receiver depth, more in need of a running back. Yeah, I'd be happy enough with that. Like, Deontay and Tank Dell cancel each other out, and Pollard, London cancels each other out. Fine. To be honest, I think you get more value out of Pollard and Tank Dell than Deontay and London.
I would agree, 110%. Yeah, these trades are nice tonight, aren't they? Yeah. There seems to be a lot of Drake London swapping.
Yeah, probably trying to sell off the high week.
Yeah, like I personally, I know people aren't going to do it because Davante Adams, but I think he has another good week this week, and I reckon you can name your asking price for Davante Adams, and you should. I think after this week, it's going to be a struggle for him for a while.
I haven't looked at their matchups, to be honest, how far they have to go.
Well, they go from here to Cleveland, then Denver, he might have a bounce back. Pittsburgh, bad defense to play against. Rams, Chiefs, Cincinnati, then Miami, Denver again, Kansas City again, Tampa, not nice, Atlanta, Jacksonville should be all right, New Orleans, nope, and Chargers. Like, they've got some nice enough games there, but
yeah,
there's too many bad games there, too many down weeks. Like, Davante, number one overall pick for you probably. He could kill your league for you this year holding on to him. And I think you can get so much for him, it could win you a league trading him.
Miami at Seattle, then. The Miami offense is going to have massive question marks around it now, purely because of the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
The running backs you probably have to stick with. I don't know if Mostert's going to play in this game, but Achane, fire him straight up anyway.
Yeah, like that's not changing. Tua going down changes nothing with Achane.
No, and then Tyreek Hill and Waddle. Maybe a question mark with Waddle a little bit. Are you a bit more worried?
Yeah, I'd be worried about Waddle. I think Tyreek, they're going to get him involved somehow or another in the offense. And he's so explosive. I know Waddle can be explosive as well, but he's not the cheater. Like, it'll be. I wouldn't be as worried about Hill. I'm not expecting the high end of Hill.
The other side of the ball then is, I think you're like, if Kenneth Walker sits again, you're firing up Charbonnet anyway.
Yep.
If Kenneth Walker plays, do you have any interest in Charbonnet, or are you just going to move off it?
Do you know what? I probably still play Charbonnet. I probably flex him if Walker is back. I'll still probably give him a flex.
They might.
Two decent weeks. I'm not going to worry about Walker coming back for Charbonnet's production.
I don't think Walker will play this week anyway. I think they're happy just to roll with Charbonnet for another week.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf, he's an auto start anyway, but Jackson Smith and Jigba after the big game, are you interested? Or are you going to wait another week?
He's probably much like Calvin Ridley. I'm probably wait. I want to wait. I want it to be real, but I'm probably going to wait.
2 targets to 16 targets in 1 week. That's mad. Like,
yeah, it's a huge difference. Like, you need some more production. You need some more games to see how is that going to fall. Like, are them targets going to be high low every week, every second week? I mean, and see kind of what kind of usage he's going to get more consistently.
Tyler Lockett dropped from 7 targets to 2 targets, so you'd be worried, is this going to be a flip flop between these two every week? Like,
yeah, like much the way it used to be between Lockett and Metcalf. Maybe Metcalf's taken over now as the clear defined one there, and Lockett and Smith and Jigby now are sharing the 2.
Because of reasons, any update on Walker's status? Walker still doesn't have a practice report for Thursday. He didn't practice yesterday on Wednesday, which could have been just rest, but I would lean towards him not playing. Like, if he doesn't get a full one in before Friday, I don't think he's going to play.
They could just declare him a healthy scratch, maybe even come Sunday.
Yeah, I wouldn't be banking on him playing this week, to be honest. Jonnu Smith, maybe with the bad quarterback, would there be a few dump offs for him? Would he be worth a play, tight end for Miami?
Yeah, like he did well last week when after Tua had his injury. So like he's worth a gamble this week.
Yeah, if you're in that situation where you're playing the Gesicki's, the Dulcich, there's that level of tight end, you could look towards Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, I think he is more upside this week than those guys.
Yeah, and that's it. You have to put a bit of stones in it though when you're putting them in, but it's probably like if you're favored to lose your match, it's probably not a bad shout just as a dart throw.
And not me. I once flexed the tight end and played one.
Always looking for those tight end points.
Yeah, man. Hey, I got the Njoku points. Do you remember that?
Detroit at Arizona. This could be a big game in a dome. Both offensive. Well, the Cardinals were beating up on a broken Rams. So it'll be interesting to see this week against a kind of mid to high level defense how Arizona go. I think I'm going to fire both options here.
Yeah, like you would hope after Harrison's big week last week that Cardinals stick to that game plan. It worked pretty well.
Throw him the ball.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Do you know what? It's that simple.
He actually he'd scored so much in like the first quarter that they barely used him again for the rest of the game. He like sat most of it out. Brought him on every now. Just ran it out. But James Conner's been good, so you're playing him. Harrison, I'm probably not going to go as far down as Michael Wilson. Like, they spread the ball around a little bit. Dortch, I'm not looking at either. But Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison, James Conner, Kyler, they're just auto starts in most situations.
Yeah. Seriously solid players for fantasy coming out of Arizona there, those 3.
Yeah, there's a good points coming from there. And then we talked about Goff. He's kind of like your mid-range QB for this week, isn't he? Like, he's kind of the bar, him and Derek Carr.
Yeah, well, Goff and Derek Carr, that's no. Yeah. Goff has had two bad weeks for fantasy wise anyway. Like he should do a lot better this week against the Cardinals, but like he's probably after hitting waivers in a lot of leagues, like an 8-point week from a quarterback. You're not happy with that.
That's a fair point. Well made. Sergio, quick question there. Jalen Naylor over Terry this week. He doesn't like Terry versus the Bengals. Washington Bengals Monday night. Jalen Naylor. Who do the Vikings have?
Vikings have the Texans. Tough matchup as well, but I would actually, I don't mind the Naylor play.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with it. It's just very hard to bench a 1 for. Yeah, Terry's been so bad as well. I'm just looking at his games here. Jaden Daniels just doesn't seem to. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm playing Naylor there.
What's Addison's health? We didn't talk about it.
I don't think he's healthy. He didn't practice today. They actually have a practice report out for Thursday.
Oh, do they? Didn't practice
today.
As
far as I know, he didn't practice today.
Can I not answer the question? Is that an option?
That's no. There's no fence sitting here on this podcast. Come on, you give us shit for that the whole time, you dick.
Yeah, I'm the host. You don't need to give question answers. Yeah, Jalen Naylor is the play, but it's hard, man. You consider Braylon Allen over Terry or Bucky over Terry. Bucky Irving.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Rashad White. If he plays, I'm not playing Bucky. Like
Braylon Allen, you're banking on him getting a lot of touches again. I know he will have a role in the offense, and I don't mind the Braylon Allen play. I said it earlier. I don't like playing the RB2 of a team over a wide receiver 1. I don't mind playing the wide receiver 2 of a good team over the wide receiver 1 of a bad team.
Yeah, I get you. I'd probably play Naylor over those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Terry over the running backs, I'd agree with you there, Shane. But then again, like Terry's hitting 5 points every game. Like I'd be expected to see that from Braylon Allen anyway. I don't know. Like Braylon Allen had the touchdowns last week. That's kind of what pushed him up, wasn't it?
Yeah. But like he's like Aaron Rodgers, his throw percentage to running backs is something like 34, 36% this season after 2 games, which is the highest in the league. So it doesn't matter if it's Braylon Allen or Breece Hall in the backfield for him. There's a good chance they're getting a target out of it anyway.
Yeah, fair point, well made. Back to the Detroit game. Like I'm firing up Gibbs, I'm firing on Montgomery. Amon-Ra, yes. Jameson Williams. He's had another good week.
Yeah.
You probably have to do it again.
Yeah, like look, we're saying about other guys here that we want to see him having back-to-back good weeks now. Williams hasn't had the 20-point week that those guys have had, but consistency is consistency. 2 weeks of consistency is good enough for me.
Week 1 was 21.9 points, so he has had your 20-point week, Shane.
Oh, did he? Sorry, I thought it was 11 I read there. Sorry.
No, yeah, no,
yeah. I thought it was back-to-back 11-point games. I was like, oh, that's consistency. Sorry, I just completely misread that there.
Yeah, no, so like, would you play Jameson Williams or Olave? I'll bring you up the game for the Saints here. The Saints have Philly.
Yeah, but Arizona's DBs are worse. I'd probably go Williams.
Yeah, so even, but like Sam Laporta is a bit of a question here as well. Like he's been playing badly.
Yeah, and I actually purposely stayed away from him because I just thought he was due after such a good rookie season. I thought there was going to be a regression this year. And so far, I've been lucky I didn't draft him. So I'm happy with that. Just I was down on Sam Laporta this year where he's been drafted. And even every tight end, like tight ends went so high off the board this year because they were so important last year. And this year they haven't produced for like bar McBride. No one has really produced at that high level.
No, who's the tight end one this year? Let's be interesting stats. I can't find that easily here, but I can't imagine.
I get it here, buddy.
While we're going through that, then Sam Laporta versus. See, the problem is you have to play him. Like you've drafted him, you have to play him, so it's not really a question, is it?
Yeah, no, you're playing him like that's it. Isaiah Likely is your tight end 1 at 25.2, and even he had a down week last week. Kittle is the tight end 2, Bowers tight end 3, McBride 4, Hunter Henry 5, and Hunter Henry and Likely both have had a down week on the back of a really good week, or vice versa.
Sup, Cade? Nice little hello there in chat. Baltimore at Dallas. Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott. I'm going straight back in on Dak. Like I know it's been 2 bad weeks, but I'm happy to play him here.
Yeah, look, he hasn't underperformed like guys like as bad as Goff has, but Yeah, I think you're happy enough to go back in on him. I know Tua got injured as well, but Tua and him were drafted similar enough place as well. Same with Joe Burrow, I think was actually drafted around there. Dak's probably been the best of that kind of group of quarterbacks that were drafted in that area. So
Well, Kyler was supposed to go in that area. He was like a 6th round, and Dak was a couple of peaks later. But then someone in our league took Kyler in like the 5th, and I was disgusted.
yeah, I had Dak marked down for the 7th, and Kyler marked up as a 5th. Well, I was drafted, and I was fully expecting him to go around there.
Yeah, because I pulled the trigger on Dak at the end of the 6th, so that's why he was gone for your 7th. Then I assume.
Yeah. I knew that would happen once Kyler went. I was like, Dan said it earlier that he wants some bit of good quarterback play this year, so I was like, Dak is his last hope.
Cade, PPR, Raheed Shaheed, Zach Charbonnet, Najee Harris for the flex. Oh, it's a toughie. I'm not going to go with Najee because I think if Kenneth Walker doesn't play, Zach Charbonnet is the best play. But if I want, say I'm projected to lose my game and I think there's a good chance that I'm going to struggle this week, I would play Shaheed over Charbonnet.
Yep. That's took the words out of my mouth. That's where I go. Exactly the way I go with it. If Kenneth is sitting, stick in Charbonnet.
He has Kenneth Walker anyway, but we were talking about this match earlier. It doesn't look like Kenneth Walker will play based off of what we've seen from practice reports, so you're probably all right with Sharbs.
Yeah, but then if Kenneth is in your 1 or 2 slot of running back, Charbonnet slots in there and Shaheed slots into your flex.
Fair point, well made. Camden Christensen. Subfellas got Stroud, Gibbs, Ramondre, Etienne, Chase, Nico Collins, Waddle, and McBride. I have 2 options. Would you rather trade Ramondre for Garrett Wilson or James Conner or hold? I'm probably going to hold those 2 over Garrett Wilson.
What trade? I think I took that differently to you. Ramondre, I thought the trade would be for Garrett Wilson or for James Conner.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, he doesn't have Conner. Who? Yeah. Well, you have Gibbs, Etienne.
Yeah, I think I would rather have Conner just for the production so far that's coming out of Arizona. They look like they're firing fairly well on offense. I think Steve could be found out in games where teams can really stack the box with a good front 7. Ramondre might struggle a lot.
I'm just not excited about trading for Garrett Wilson either. Like I'm genuinely worried about that team.
Yeah, and I think look, you already have Chase, Nico, and Waddle. So I'd be kind of happy at wide receiver not to go get Garrett Wilson. Yeah. Whereas I think ETN with Bigsby got hurt last week. So I think Bigsby looked like he was going to come into it a lot more in week 1. That'd worry me with ETN.
Nino Penna, don't think you guys like this one, but I traded away Ramondre for King Henry. That's a great trade.
That's a great trade. This is the King Henry podcast. We love Derrick Henry here. We've had a league for 3 years and nobody in that league's had Henry bar me.
What else do we have here? But I got to start and sit with Ford playing against the Giants and Godwin versus Denver. Who should you start at flex? I think I'm going to go with Godwin. I'm going to stay in the flames of Godwin.
Yeah, I think I'm the same with that one. Godwin's he's played so well.
Back to this matchup we were talking about. So Dak, we said we're going to go back to him. Lamar was an auto start. King Henry, yep, like no issues there.
Mm-hmm.
This backfield for Dallas, you may take the wheel there, Shane. I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, it's an over and back thing between Dowdle and Elliott. I dropped Dowdle after week 1 just because I needed a few other pieces more so than wanted to drop him. But from what I've seen, it looks like Dalvin Cook could be getting introduced fairly lively as well. So it might be just a backfield to completely steer clear of if there's 3 of them getting touches. Like,
Yeah.
It's not enjoyable as a Cowboys fan. Anyway, let me tell you that.
Yeah, I put Dowdle on a bench if he's on waivers. I think I tried to do that this week, but then I had to move him because I just didn't have the space on my bench. I needed plays.
That's it. Like, and even Deuce Vaughn got touches last week as well. Like, he took a bit of the ball away from the other two again. Like, so it's a tough situation there.
The wide receivers in this game, then, even though you mentioned Bateman earlier, I don't think you're actually going to play him. Sure, you have better options around the place.
Yeah, like you should. I probably don't at the minute. I'm playing Lazar tonight. I could actually go get Bateman. He's available in our league, but I'm just still refusing to do that.
Zay Flowers, then after the big week. Zay Flowers, I always struggle with a little bit. Like, I just don't know whether I'm ever really comfortable playing Zay Flowers.
Yeah, I think it's phobia for us with the Ravens wide receivers that we've had for the last couple of years. That, like, we all thought Flowers would break out last year, come true, and he didn't really. He flashes here and there. So I think that's what I'm sitting here with. I'm waiting for Zay Flowers to go 18 points, 15 points, 22 points, 19 points. I need to see that consistency throughout a year before I come back and go, oh yeah, I am so happy next year to draft Zay Flowers in the 3rd round. It makes me so happy to do it. I'm nowhere near that.
Like, I'm playing Zay Flowers over Jalen Waddle against Seattle, I think, but I'm not playing him over Jameson Williams against Arizona.
Yeah, I'd be very much of the same thought there.
CeeDee Lamb, we don't need to talk about that straight in.
No.
I'm not playing Brandon Cooks. I just don't want to play with that fire. I think it's a deep league dart throw.
Yeah, I'd lean more to Tolbert than Cooks after watching the Saints game last week. Tolbert seemed to be a guy that Dak like to go to with Ferguson out. But Ferguson was practicing today, so whether he's back in or not, I don't know. But he was seen at practice today, practicing. So it's Tolbert might not be a play. If Jake Ferguson is playing, I wouldn't play Tolbert. Put it that way.
I don't think I'd play Ferguson this week either, though. I'd wait a week for Ferguson before I look to put him into my actual tight end spot.
Yeah, like the one thing I would say with the Cowboys and Dak especially, if Ferguson isn't playing, Schoonmaker is like, he's probably got higher upside than Freiermuth this week. Like, Schoonmaker will be a nice little pickup if Ferguson is out, because the Cowboys use their tight ends a lot.
Speaking about tight ends, and we have Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. Likely came back to earth after the big week 1.
I told you.
Everyone put their fab in.
I said it. I
play Andrews without much stress. Like, he did get back on the ball a bit. You can play Likely if you want, but it's tight end. It's not going to kill you if he doesn't score.
Look, Andrews, you watched the week 1 game. Andrews was double covered so much in that game. That's why Likely got force fed the ball. Lamar loves his tight ends too. Like, he loves to throw to the tight end. Mark Andrews not getting double covered is just, he's going to be the one there again. It's a 1A, 1B. They like Likely. They do have a lot of 2 tight end sets, but Andrews is the guy.
Yeah, I think you can play the 2 of them, like you're saying, but it's just know what you're getting into.
Yeah, like I wouldn't expect Andrews to have the upside he's had in previous years, but I would expect Andrews to still be an 8 to 11 point a week kind of guy in that range, and then to have a down week once in a while.
San Francisco at the Rams. This is a tough game. well, for the Rams side, the only person you can really play is Kyron, and even that, don't be expecting much. Like, I'm looking 8 or 9 points this week, maybe for Kyron.
Yeah, you can never tell. Kyron's got that lightning quick speed as well. He's able to make guys miss. You don't know. I wouldn't be very comfortable with Kyron as my RB1 this week. But you
No.
drafted him where you drafted him. He's going to play. Like you said, he should be like, if you could have traded him before the game goes, I think you'd feel a lot more comfortable getting, if you could get a big piece back. That's how I'd value Kyron right now.
Yeah, I'd agree. Like, and for the receivers on the Rams, I'm not interested in the receivers or the tight ends because I'm generally worried for Stafford's life in this game playing against that D line. Like,
yeah, it could end up in a bad one here.
All in one show: Bears, Chargers, or Bucks DST. So the Bears, let's get their matchup up first. They were near the top of the list, so they have Indy. So that's Richardson throwing dodgy balls. The Chargers had Pittsburgh, so Justin Fields, or the Bucks, who have Bo Nix and Denver.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to go with Bucks.
Yeah, Bucks.
Like, I will say, I had Pittsburgh's D last week against Bo Nix, and you could see that they were trying to avoid having Bo Nix throw it, but then when he did throw it, he threw 2 picks. So I would be comfortable with the Bucks D, even though they've not been firing on massive fantasy points. I think they got 4 and 6 in the first 2 weeks, but I'm still going to play them in this
yeah,
one.
they could probably have that combined and doubled after this week.
On the San Francisco side of the ball in the Rams game, I think he played them all. Like, I know Debo's not playing, so Ayuk's an auto start. I'm gonna play Kittle.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play Mason, and then like you can even play Purdy here, even though he's not been great.
Yeah. Like, look, he's serviceable, but again, it seems to be a trend in the first couple of weeks. Like, it's very hard to get quarterbacks scoring high points this year.
Yeah, the passing's been down.
Yeah, so like Purdy's kind of he usually has the weapons. He doesn't have the weapons, and I've seen a couple of talk shows and stuff say that they kind of think this is what Purdy's going to be like when he gets the big money and he loses all the talent around him. They think the Niners are going to go down quick. But I don't know. Like, I think Purdy hasn't done you wrong completely yet. You're probably staying with him. Like, is there much better out there that you can pick up off waivers? Carr's probably gone. Baker's probably gone.
I can tell you who's on our waivers right now. So you can play Geno Smith, Herbert, Sam Darnold. Carr is still on our waivers. Oh.
Is he?
Yeah.
Man, we are not doing this right at all, are we?
Yeah, I don't have the space for my bench is full of terrible running backs at the minute.
Yeah, mine's full of bad wide receivers.
I think we can move off the San Francisco game then and move to Kansas City at Atlanta. Like, the big question mark in this game is going to be these running backs for the Chiefs after the Pacheco injury. Not super excited about playing either, but you can play Steele, I think, in a push.
Yeah, I think what you see a little bit more this week, I think Wordy actually becomes a very smart player. I think they get him involved in the run game a bit.
Yeah, I think they could put a lot more passing into their offense this week as well.
Yeah, it's a hard one to call, but I think Steele, I'm okay with playing him. I don't mind the play. He's a number one running back there, definitely.
Yeah,
I think he played well preseason, but preseason is preseason. It's not the regular season. Like,
yeah, he looked like a bit of a plodder in the few snaps I saw him against the Bengals.
Yeah, like I don't know. He should be serviceable.
Yeah. I think
Running backs are so tight this year with the injuries that have happened. I think if you did manage to get him on waivers, you're probably playing him because your team obviously isn't in a very good place after 2 weeks.
Yeah, because you've had a high priority to get him.
Yeah.
I offered Ramondre and Amari Cooper for Henry and got declined. Should I offer Ramondre and Waddle for Derrick Henry?
Yeah, I don't even notice. That probably gets it over the line, but Amari Cooper was never getting that done.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to give up Ramondre and Waddle for Henry.
If it's Dynasty, I don't. If it's redraft, I do it. I just think that Derrick Henry and that team, I know Lamar is going to take. That's why I did the Lamar Henry stack this year. I figured if someone's running the ball in, it's one of those two guys. I'm not missing out on the touchdowns.
Yeah, Ramondre and Waddle. Waddle's value has definitely gone down without the quarterback. You probably should do that trade, Ramondre and Waddle for Derrick Henry. I am worried about what Waddle gets in that offense now, but yeah, I think it's just the name of Waddle it seems like a lot. But yeah, you probably should do that trade.
Yeah. I would do it anyway. I'd have no problem doing it.
Yeah, it's a redraft. So yeah, probably should do that trade. It's hard with the name Waddle, I think.
It's easy when you're getting the king back though.
The receivers for Kansas City, Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. I think we're both happy to play the two boys. Nothing below that.
Yeah, no, that's it for me there, yeah.
Actually, Xavier Worthy is probably the line. I know we were talking about Calvin Ridley a bit earlier. I'd play Calvin Ridley above Xavier Worthy anyway.
Would you? I'd lean the opposite way. I just think Worthy with Pacheco out after they give him that one carry week 1, I think he might get 3 or 4 carries this week as well. Yeah. That's the way I'm looking at Worthy's value this week. Or Worthy's value with Pacheco out. I think he becomes a bit of a Debo role.
Yeah, it could easily happen. You've seen a few runs from him, like he's very fast as well.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, we're not playing him. Bijan auto start. Algier got a bit of a run. Sorry.
Yeah, that was just funny. The disrespect on Kirko.
Kirko pops. Algier got a bit of run last week, but he's still not getting into your lineup. He did look good in the drives I saw, though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but he did the same last year. He looked flashes last year as well. Just not good enough. Like not enough to make me say he's getting into my lineup this week. Like
you have to play Drake London here anyway after the big week 2, but we are seeing a lot of London trades, so people are obviously trying to get off of that ship.
Yeah, that's because they all drafted him in round 2 and realized what a mistake it was.
Yeah, fair point, well made. But yeah, I didn't draft London anywhere. I didn't like the value in round 2, but yeah, like I don't know, like Kansas City's back end isn't as good without Snead, but still, like you have to play London if you drafted him in the second round. There's no way around that. Yeah,
like if Kirk targets him more like he did last week, you're onto a good player there. We all know, we've seen the flashes from Drake London. We know he's a good player. He hasn't had any good quarterback play. Like Kirk should, we were all saying it this year, Kirk should make Drake London and Kyle Pitts better. He's made Kyle Pitts serviceable as a tight end. I think he's tight end 6 or 7 on the year. I was going through him there. I think Kyle Pitts was just below the last name I said earlier.
Yeah.
So like it's nothing special. It's 8 to 10 points a week, but for tight ends, that's okay. It's not what you want out of Kyle Pitts, but it's okay. Drake London should be a guy that does more for you in your league with Kirk Cousins as his quarterback. We're just maybe last week was the first week we get to see it. I hope it is, because we need more fantasy targets this year. So far this year, we are lacking on the good players in the fantasy front.
Yeah, I agree with your sentiment completely there with Pitts. I think you know what you're getting into now. You're not getting that superstar anymore, or the superstar that we all wanted, but at least it's serviceable.
Yeah.
Jacksonville at Buffalo. So we're into 2 Monday night games, which kind of sucks for us in Europe, but whatever the NFL do. Trevor Lawrence, Josh Allen. I'm not playing Trevor Lawrence anyway, but Allen's a go.
Yeah. Yep.
The running backs then. See, Monday nights suck as well, purely because like players like ETN, where you might be a little bit worried about the health. Like you just have to roll the dice, don't you?
Well, yeah, especially with someone like ETN, he was taken high. Like you've put big draft capital into him. You don't want to be benching him. My worry for the ETN owners is Bigsby looked like they were going to give him such a big role week 1. He was out week 2 due to some punt return or special teams incident that I didn't actually see. He's back this week by the looks of it, so I'd be worried again if I was an ETN owner, because he's probably going to take a lot of your ball.
That's sorry, I wasn't worried about the health of ETN. I was worried about the health of Bigsby. That's what I was thinking about with the Jaguars there. ETN seems to be fine.
Yeah.
I think I may wait and see how. Sorry, this is Camden Christensen again. I think I may wait and see how Ramondre and this Patriots team play against the Jets front. So that was the trade with Connor or was that the Waddle trade? That was the Waddle trade.
The Waddle one, yeah. Yeah, like I don't mind that at all, because the Jets, they should be a bigger test for Ramondre. Like if Ramondre comes out of this week smelling like roses, you're probably not trading him away.
Should I trade Pickens for Aaron Jones? This is a question from Mateo. I'm probably going to trade Pickens for Aaron Jones, but that's because I'm struggling at running back on my teams.
Yeah.
Pickens was like, he looked really good in that game. Just didn't get many targets. I'd make of it what you will, but I think I prefer Aaron Jones.
Yeah, see, I'm healthy at running back and I have Aaron Jones, and I'm probably going to keep Aaron Jones.
That breaks it down pretty well. Christian Kirk can go to the waiver wire, in my opinion. I have no interest in dealing with that anymore. What about you?
I'm holding out for one more week. He's on the bench. He's riding the bench, but I'm just waiting one more week. Himself and Sutton, I took late kind of picks, shots on the two of them. I thought Kirk would have a much bigger upside this year. Thomas has killed his production, I think. But I just want to see him one more week. See, can Lawrence do something? I think their matchups are terrible for him anyway. So,
yeah, this could be the Brian Thomas breakout week. This could be big.
Jacksonville are meeting a lot of good defenses along the way here. Like till they get to Tennessee week 17, Vegas week 16, Tennessee week 14. There's a lot of tough defenses in their way.
Yeah, I'm not playing Thomas this week, but I think he's very much stashed on the bench waiting, because I was talking to Jamie about trading Thomas for Zach Moss this week. I just couldn't pull the trigger on it purely because even though I'm in running back need, I feel like Brian Thomas is going to be a star, and I just can't do that for Zach Moss.
Zach Moss.
Yeah.
Jesus. Madison is better than Zach Moss, and I have him. I'll give you Madison from Thomas in a heartbeat.
I have no interest in any of the Buffalo receivers this week, and Dalton Kincaid, you kind of have to play him. Do you have the same agreement there, or? Yeah,
no, I'm happy to go with you on that one, bud.
Yeah, and then the running backs we don't need to talk about. You play James. No. So this brings us to the last game. Then we're going to do a couple of these questions here quickly. So Mateo, okay, Pickens is the only receiver that catches the ball in that team. That's why I was thinking. And Hawkinson will come back soon. So he obviously has Hawkinson. It depends on your team makeup, I think, Mateo. If you need a running back, Aaron Jones is a better play. I'm with you that Pickens looks great in what I've seen him, and he is the only receiver there, but it's hard to get excited about that. Sorry, his running backs right now are Montgomery, Travis Etienne, Josh Jacobs, and Zamir White. Doesn't really need a running back then.
Yeah, you're probably all right. The whole Pickens there. Just hope that the upside comes.
Camden Christensen. I don't think his value drops a ton with this down week, but another good week might mean he's a must keep. Who are we talking about here?
Ramondre, that's Ramondre.
Ramondre. Yeah, no, I'm happy with Ramondre. To be honest, I think Ramondre is probably going to be one of the steals of the draft this year.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's just my big fear with that is Patriots could become very one-dimensional very quickly. So it leads to heavy boxes stacked against them.
Yeah. Actually, they're a bit surprising. I thought they'd be worse.
Yeah. Brissett is fairly serviceable as a quarterback in just NFL, not in fantasy, as starting to be in the league. He doesn't do a bad job. He's not terrible.
This brings us to the Commanders at the Bengals for the last game.
Yeah.
I know it's been bad for Joe Burrow, but I think you play him here. If there's one thing that's going to get you right, it's going to be that Washington team.
Yeah, look, he 90-point week last week. I have no problem playing Burrow this week. Commanders, not a good team. Should do well.
It's actually kind of funny that Jaden Daniels didn't have a big week against the Giants, but was all right against the Bucs.
Yeah, it's like the more pressure he's under, the more he's going to run away. The better he will play.
I think I'm going to play him though. I think I'm going to take my Burns, play him this week, and if it doesn't go well, then I'll look at benching him for a while.
Yeah, I'd be happy enough with that as well.
The aforementioned Zach Moss, then I think he's taken the running back 1 role, but are you happy about playing Zach Moss?
No. No, God, no.
You play him in a pinch. You play him if you're like me and you've lost Pacheco and you've no other running backs, but him or Singletary, who did the Giants have? They had someone bad, didn't they? They had the Browns. Yeah.
Yeah, but you go Zach Moss there just for the fact that Singletary's playing one of the better defenses.
Yeah. And then the 2 running backs on the other side, Eckler and Robinson. I'm happy to fire up either of those boys. I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, more Robinson than Eckler, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Robinson's having a good start to the season.
Yeah, people thought last year Gibson, Robinson, it'd be 50-50, and Robinson really took over. And I really thought with a name like Eckler coming in that Robinson was going to lose that 1 role, but he's still getting more of the ball, or he's still doing more with it at least.
Yeah, he's been good. He's the running back 12 over 2 weeks. He's been a nice little 8th round pick as well, or something like that, wasn't he? It's not bad value.
Yeah. Very good value.
We were talking about Terry with some terrible start sits earlier, so let's face it, we're not play Terry.
Yeah, I tried that one last year as well. I had a lineup of McLaurin and DK as my wide receivers last year. It was pain and bliss week after week. It was terrible.
The Bengals wide receivers are a bit easier. We're playing Chase. We discussed that. We're playing him over Flowers, so we're both in on Chase, even though it's been bad.
Higgins, they're saying, might be back.
Yeah, I'm not playing T. Higgins either. Even if he is back, I'm waiting a week.
Yeah, fair.
Are you going to play him?
I probably would for the situation I'm in, but probably not if I have a healthy wide receiver room. Yeah,
and then Yoshi Vass, I think he's like the Tyler Boyd role from last year. You could play him in a pinch, but I wouldn't be super excited about it.
If Higgins is on somewhat of we're going to hold you back a little bit snap count tonight on the Monday night, then I probably have no problem firing Evas up. But other than that, I'd be worried about throwing him in again.
And then the 2 tight ends in this game, Zach Ertz and Gesicki, there you can play the 2 of them, but again, you're expecting 5 points, 6 points.
Yeah, they both had good weeks last week. Yeah, no problem. Look, take the shot again. We've seen how tight ends just go up and down in this league. It's the most unpredictable position out there, I think, for fantasy. So
you just grab one, you play them. You don't really care.
Yeah, when they're in form, try catch the good weeks. That's the best we can do with that. But Gesicki, you would think Gesicki should have another good week this week.
Come week 4 when we have actual stats on defenses and we can figure out which ones to target for tight ends, then you can plan it out. But at the minute, it's just a lottery.
Yeah, that's like you're looking at that saying it's Commanders. They've been bad overall. Gesicki should be a good stream this week. Could turn around and say, could turn around and be Jamar Chase got 20 targets and Gesicki got 2. Like, just
probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, they just feed Jamar against them. Like, you just don't know.
All right, Shane, we made it to the end.
We did, boy.
Only the 2 of us as well. Made it the whole way through all the questions.
I know, yeah. JB will have to come back and do it all by himself next week, carrying him out.
Thanks for all the questions throughout the show, guys. Please like us on what do you like us on these days? You follow and subscribe on YouTube, and then you follow on X as well, don't you?
That's it, yeah. You can hit the like buttons or the heart or whatever it is as well. That'll do us all a favor.
Just press a bunch of buttons and see what happens. See how far we actually get with all this stuff. That brings us to the outro. Now we have to talk over this awkwardly.
See you, boys.